Welcome to Health IQ, a podcast from the Coy County Health Council. In this podcast, we are exploring a variety of health topics that affect our community and probably yours too. We are not professional podcasters, but volunteers that have a passion for wellness. We will share practical ideas and resources for people with limited access to services, and we have some fun tips to help you and your family stay healthy and well. Increase your health IQ as you listen to our members as they talk and share with experts and others about the health matters that matter to you.
From Summer to School, Episode 16, Helpful Habits for Happy Students.
School starts here in Coy County in a few weeks, or maybe next week, and parents and children will be switching from summer fun to school time. And for many of our rural youth, they will have had a very busy week at the county fair, showing their animals, working concessions, and all the fun stuff that comes with fair, and then immediately switch right into school. I know from my family, that first week of school, we were always exhausted, and that transition was hard. And I sort of feel that sometimes we didn't make that good transition and maybe set ourselves up for failure at the beginning. So today we are excited to have Clyde Moon, the director of the Learning Center at House, New Mexico Schools. He's here to share some tips for helping our children become successful students. Our crew today is Bobby Hockaday and Gordon Runyon. And joining me at the table is Joyce Runyon, and I am Brenda Bishop. So thank you, Clyde, for joining us today and for bringing this very important topic. I thought we could start with you sharing just a little bit about what the Learning Center is and some of the opportunities you provide youth.
The Learning Center is an alternative high school at House, New Mexico in southern Coy County. And we serve students from all the surrounding areas, including Tucumcari and Clovis and Santa Rosa, and then some places even farther than that, like Portales and Dora and places like that. So the Learning Center used to be a program that had students come one day a week, and they had book and packets, which were paper stack of homework. And now we are keeping the book and packets, but we're moving into some online opportunities through a program called Edmentum, which is an online learning school.
Cool.
And the nice thing about the Learning Center compared to the other online schools is we can now do a blending of packets and Edmentum, and especially for the subjects that are difficult with online learning. And
so students can come up and spend time with teachers.
Yes, and the model is eventually going to morph into meeting appointments and electronic.
Exclusively, or?
No, they can still come in person, but which is always faster, more efficient, builds better connections. But we're also going to be available through apps like Zoom and with some projector screens where teachers can show their work by working out a problem on their deal. The camera will be above them. And so those are neat things about the Learning Center. We have a regular high school diploma, and they can go to military, to college, whatever they need
and
to
they
do.
get to go through a graduation ceremony as well.
If they
Actually, my oldest daughter, I homeschooled my children, and she finished everything before I thought she was going to. And so I called Mr. Moon, and I said, Mr. Moon, I got a problem. And we took her out, and she tested it and did fine. And she actually did all of her high school at the Learning Center and walked through the graduation and went on to college and did really well. So I was really thankful for that format as a homeschooling parent, that she could go in and be around other kids, still learn, and get a diploma, which I felt was important instead of having a GED. So the Learning Center helps kids in lots of different situations, some that are working or have other issues going on. And so it's a fantastic opportunity we have here.
Yeah, we have top academic students like your daughter who want to accelerate or take college classes, but we also help the struggling student who's just wants to quit, and we've seen a lot of success with those students. And we also, by the way, are a really good resource for parents who found themselves to be parents of a young child now.
Yes.
Well, and I can remember when my son was going up to school at House, he went to the Learning Center that senior year to help with some of the things that you need to do to get ready to go to college,
Yes.
and some of the those kinds of resume writing and things like that. So, what are some of your top tips for helping these high school students achieve some success in school?
It's general good parenting, and the data is coming in, and I'm seeing it personally. I've seen it personally with my own children. We have to, as parents, do a better job of limiting all the forms of electronic screens. Video games need to have a limit. I would rather them not even start video games, because I see 3-year-olds or 2-year-olds on their parents' phone because the parent don't want to engage with them, and they put them on a screen, and then they get to play a little game. The social media is a big problem. The data's there. The students get anxiety problems, and it's causing all kinds of bullying, and social media needs to be greatly limited and highly monitored by parents. So that's my top tip. The other one is we got to get the phones away from the bedroom at night, or all kinds of laptops and tablets and everything else that's an electronic source have to be away. They need to be charging.
Somewhere
if kids
else.
are waking up in the night, then those need to be in the parents' room.
Well, I have seen some research about the notifications that kids have those notifications all night long, and so they never get to that good deep sleep that we need for our bodies to heal and grow, because they're up all night checking their notifications. And I turn most of my notifications off because I don't want to be bugged by that stuff.
Yeah.
I saw a video of a teacher who, for one class period, had their kids walk to the front of the room and do a tally check mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a slash every time they got a notification and then they had it broken into email, Snapchat, the more popular ones, and the room chart was full because it was a big class, probably over 20 to 30 students, but they just were in a constant coming up. This is They didn't tell their friends. She didn't tell their friends ahead of time, text extra or anything, but it was
just a
unreal
random
distraction during class that kids have.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We talk about the sleep distraction, but I know that when I used to, in my previous job, go into classrooms as a special guest, I was so annoyed that they were not paying any attention to me, but always looking down on their phones. Yeah. And I was just like, how can you even pay attention and learn?
So they used to take those phones when they came to school, and that doesn't happen anymore.
It is a struggle for schools. Kids would bring the old phone and throw it in the basket. If that was the case, and they'd still have their phone.
They'd have the other phone they used.
Maybe they might not have it in the classroom, but they would have it in their locker. They'd check it for that period. You ask to go to the bathroom extra.
Yeah.
So it's a problem. So
So cell phones in the classroom are a reality for high school and even younger than that?
It is a problem down to early elementary grades.
Wow.
And you can look at the data. It's our kids' ages. We all have kids really close in age where this student did not have the problem, but then in about 2014, they became smartphones. So they went from flip phones to smartphones. Now they have access to all the internet stuff. Therefore, the apps, the video games, the social media, all that stuff. And that's where the data is showing all these kids are having problems. They're having trouble holding down jobs. They're having trouble graduating. They're addicted to things on their phone and those kind of things. So I'm in favor of kids being active in things. And you missed one a while ago. You said fair, but we got 2-a-days in August and July starting for volleyball and football. They need to be getting ready for that. But they're in organizations like FFA, sports, other, I can't even begin to list everything else, but those are the main ones in our area, 4-H. They're going on trips. Parents want them to be in control. I want to know where they're at. Did you know that sponsors don't mind keeping parents updated if a kid does not have a phone? In fact, they prefer that. There's also some phones available that are only phone call or basic text messaging. But going back to the old flip phone type days. So those are that's what my preference would be. Age 16 before they even think about getting a smartphone is kind of what I'm seeing now.
So what about other things other than phones that can help youth succeed in school?
Well, the trend that I see now is it's not the kids, it's the parents who are addicted to some phones. Me being one included. Yeah, it's easy to get on your device and there's so much stuff and it's a good thing I'm doing. I'm planning the map for the next route we're going to go or where we're going to eat or whatever. And they're totally leaving the kids unengaged. And so the kids are begging, can I have a phone? Can I do this? Because I'm just sitting here bored. And they've already kind of semi-begin an addiction to screens and having that. Kids are nowadays needing constant engagement. And it's just so easy to be a babysitter and here's the phone. And I see that down to young toddlers, even 2, 3, or 4-year-olds.
Yeah. When my kids were at home, we had a weekly family game night. And we had to play their age games, but we played games at one night a week of course, we didn't have the smartphones then, but it was a way to everybody talk and be involved and do things with your kids and find ways to entertain yourself.
I just think parents need to weigh this out. I can be on my phone or I can engage with my kids. And what if I miss out on something or not the best restaurant that we could go to or this social media notification? But in the long run, all of our society, especially our kids, are better off if parents are engaged with the kids. So that's...
And play with them and take turn our phones off.
Yeah.
So, but going back to school, is there any tips for time management or things like that can help kids?
So I think just a consistent bedtime is big and important. And then the other one that I see as a trend now that I'm noticing a problem is parents are not awake when the kids are awake.
That strikes me as odd.
Parents have this addiction to their device. They're staying up late at night. Kids wake up in the morning. I just think everybody consistent, even on weekends, is a big important deal to get ready for school. Might as well keep it the same through the summer with only minor adjustments on that.
So that's probably something easier to implement with younger kids than like with your teens and stuff, or you would say across the board, everybody, we're going to bed at 10. Just a consistent. Some of the kids know they need more sleep. Another thing that I think would help our kids to do better was reduce anxiety, which will help them sleep better, is parents need to have their serious discussions that are, some of us might call a fight, apart from their kids and get those discussions away from the kids and where they're not where you're resolving
Kids are not as
disagreements.
resolving disagreements
Yeah.
away from the kids.
Or potential hot topics. Those are adult.
Or just keeping adult topics, no matter if they're a fighter or not,
Inappropriate.
Yeah.
appropriate topics that you don't.
It causes anxiety for kids, and they're worried about it.
Yeah. We forget they're always listening.
Yes.
We do.
I would, as far as organization, students come to the Learning Center without a backpack. And I'm saying, where is that work and what happened? Oh, I forgot it. But a backpack, a nice binder, something like that is big important. For the papers, those organization folders, they used to be, before inflation, $1
Yeah.
at Dollar Tree, at Family Dollar. Those help. But now we need electronic organizers. So figure out how to use your electronic calendars for the kids. They can have that as part of their school email. Virtually every student in Clay County and all the surrounding areas are issued a laptop for school and a email account. And those all have calendars. They can have due dates. They can put them in pretty quickly, meeting times.
That's a really great tip, especially since they have that device that they should utilize fully to help themselves.
And then once school starts, whatever form of whether it's book and paper, like the Learning Center, or your traditional old classroom, or if it's an electronic source, parents need to be engaged. And my recommendation on paper is parents look at every page that got done, like especially for homework, and initial it and put the date. And they may not do it every day of the week, but if they miss a day, that's okay. But just date it that day, so a kid knows I am accountable. Somebody's watching me. And what I find is kids like boundaries, and they like knowing that somebody loves them enough to check their work. On electronics, I think a parent needs to have a data log of some kind. So a lot of these courses are set up where you have made this much progress. It's a percent towards the 100% completing the course.
Yeah.
And you need to daily chart that or weekly chart it. Last week you were at 10%, and this week you're only at 11%. What happened this week? Did you avoid it or whatever? So those are for all the electronic schools like Logan
So now,
Online and
with
like
some of the-
House's Edmentum program.
With those electronic ones, there is an actual teacher that's in that room with them while they're working on those things, or is this stuff they're just doing?
Most of them, the kids are on their own. There is somebody possibly checking progress. The model the Learning Center is going to engage is a weekly appointments to check progress, to review that with students, whether it's a phone call or a Zoom meeting or something where we can share screen and look at progress, and it'll be with parents as needed. And so,
So I can remember in college, I had lots of friends who flunked some classes because they were called self-paced classes. So they were just supposed to work on their own, show up whenever they wanted.
And they did.
And then they didn't get it done. And then there at the end of the semester, they ran out of time. So that's sort of what you're saying is these kids are having to be self-paced pretty much.
right.
And so if parents got involved in making sure that they were
moving along.
that would be quite helpful.
And that goes back to setting them up for success when they're little with the limited screen time. Because they're most of the time they're not doing it because they're on a social media
They're playing,
app,
they're doing something
or they're
else.
on a video game.
Or setting them up from the very beginning and show me your homework before you, setting up some parameters like that. So healthy habits other than sleep, we know sleep is very important, but do other healthy habits play a role in school success?
Well, I wanted to mention known anxiety foods or food additives.
Oh,
We need to be thinking about those. And the top number one in the nation right now that we need to watch out for is red number 40 food coloring dye, which is in all kinds of anything. If it's red, it probably has red 40 in it, from red hot candies to red hot Cheetos.
To cereals.
Those are
And
known.
those red hot Cheetos are like really, or flaming hot or whatever they're called, are really popular.
They are very popular. They're very tasty. I love them for the taste. But they are known exciters that not cause anxiety. They are known to cause anger. So just getting engaged whenever you hear about something that is a known to cause excitement or anxiety or possibly even anger, pay attention. There's more than just red 40.
Mm-hmm. Actually, some of our items that we allow to be purchased here over in Europe, they are banned. They can't sell them there because they say it causes health issues.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that has been really an interesting fact that a lot of people aren't aware of. And I think red 40 is one of those things that it's not allowed.
That's interesting.
And then
what about like energy drinks and things like that? I know I see so many kids walking into school with cans of energy drinks.
They do. And I walk into school with my cup of coffee too, which is slightly different than the energy drink, but it's not a lot different. And I think the longer we can go and getting kids started on caffeine and those other energy things, I think is a big deal. For me, I feel completely different on an energy drink. And I think it's the ingredient toluene that's different for me.
Arcorana?
That just I can't even describe it. There's a different feeling. And I don't feel like it gives me energy, by the way, but...
So when I was thinking healthy habits, I was even thinking about things like going outside to play, to have a break in the day. Does that help us with success in school?
I think so. And I think for the kids that are in an at-home program, like the Learning Center or like the online schools, or they're even doing homework, I like to set up a timer. And it's so easy. It's so easy to set a timer for 10 minutes, and they need a break. And when it's over, you're back to work.
Yeah.
And if you need a longer break, next time set a longer break, but go back to work when the timer's up.
Right. Oh, and even as I get to working on something like a grant or whatever, I need that break just to re-stimulate myself and get myself on track.
So what happens on breaks is I'm going to stay another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
because it goes by so fast.
And then it's another 15 minutes. But if you set a timer and you faithfully go back, you'll get back to work on long days like that. And then if you say, that wasn't a long enough time, well, that's for next time, not this time. Next time I'll set a 15, 20-minute break instead of a 10-minute.
Or then just encourage them to get it done at school. And not have to worry about it at home.
So do you have any other tips? I was also thinking about maybe the importance of building a relationship with your child's teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Teachers love to be engaged with parents. It's not a bother for a teacher to be engaged with parents.
In a positive way.
And I'm not just bragging on the teachers at House. I work with the teachers from every district in Clay County and even Curry and Roosevelt and Guadalupe counties. And they're good people. They're good teachers. And they all feel the same way. We want to be engaged.
They want your student to succeed.
To our kids to succeed. And the accountability that comes because a parent checked on them, I think is just very important, and it really helps with student success.
And for a parent, I think you need to encourage your child to make out those connections with their teachers too.
Yes.
Because if they have a problem, that's who they need to talk to. If I don't understand this homework, that's who they need to talk to, or I'm falling behind, or there's an issue, or someone's bothering me so I can't pay attention. That's who they need to talk to.
But if the parent has modeled that,
then
it makes it easier for the child to do that.
Yeah, to have a good relationship. The student.
And guess what?
Parent.
Senior year, these kids are going to be asking somebody to write a scholarship recommendation letter. And if they haven't engaged with building these relationships and being reliable and being somebody they can count on, that they're just harming themselves to be able to get the scholarships. So,
Well, we're almost out of time, and we usually do some food for thought at our end of our thing. And I didn't go over any of them with you, but I'm thinking this one might work well. Challenge yourself in the classroom, and you will conquer the world outside. So that I didn't find who made that quote, but I thought it was an interesting quote that really fits with that learning to be successful and helps not only within school, but also as we go on throughout life.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Learning is a journey, and it doesn't end. And by the way, when teachers like me retire, we're not done teaching. We're still teaching. Just like you're still a home economist, Brenda.
I think somebody's always watching you, and they're learning something by what you're doing. But when we say a challenge, I think it's important to realize that learning is a process, and it's not always easy for everybody. And so you need to be okay with, it's okay to struggle a little bit. It's okay to have some problems a little bit, because it's overcoming those things that gives you, it improves your self-image. You say, I can do these things. It lets you know hard things don't stop you. And so just encourage your child, because learning isn't always easy. It's not always easy to make friends. It's not always easy to learn math, and grammar can really be hard. But it's worth the challenge, and it will help you in the long run.
Working through that challenge.
Yes.
Working through it. So we have a gift for you, but I don't know what I did with it. I will share mine. We have a tumbler that we will find
thank you.
That has our Health IQ logo.
And
thank you for being on our podcast today. And thank you for joining us today. Come back for our next episode as we visit with an early childhood educator as she shares tips to help our young children thrive and we will learn about an opportunity for adults that like working with young children.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Brenda.
Thank you.
And Joyce.
Special thanks to our guest contributor, Clyde Moon of the Learning Center of House, New Mexico. Our host was Brenda Bishop. Co-host was Joyce Runyon.
Podcast crew, our director is Robert F. Hockaday. Producers are Robert F. Hockaday and Joyce Runyon. Video crew was Gordon Runyon. Music provided by David Morris.
This podcast was made possible by a New Mexico Department of Health Better Together grant. Additional information about today's topic will be on the Health IQ blog located on the Quay County Health Council's website at www.qchealthcouncil.org. Be sure to follow the Quay County Health Council on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Quay County Health. This podcast was created solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for advice from a healthcare or mental health professional.